I hope. Just steal the F2 viewers. Hola, buenos noches, or in just good old plain fashioned English, good evening everyone, and welcome along to FRL. We are here for F1 action. It is season 14, round 15 of the championship, the penultimate round as we take in the Mexican Grand Prix from the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. My name is James Head, of course, going to be taking you through the stream as always on a Tuesday night, and joining me in the commentary box, fresh from his 12th place last night in FRL F3, it is Mr. FRL Jesse. Jesse, how you doing?
I'm doing good. And how are you doing?
I'm doing really well. Excited for the action tonight? I don't think it'll cut last week though.
Yeah, again, the track where it's really difficult with track limits. Also in USA we saw that, so hopefully it will be also the same as USA. That was a really good race.
Yeah, I really hope so. That final lap. Let's just talk about that final lap last week, because Montana took the championship win on the final lap around the outside of Tom Robbo, two very good rivals in other leagues as well. But they came to an absolute fall last week. It was an absolute privilege to watch. I'm sure you enjoyed it, of course, viewing the stream as well last week. And to talk you through, of course, what happened last week if you didn't catch the race, Montana, as we've already alluded to, took the win, and it was his 6th win in 7 races. Absolute GOAT of FRL taking the win. Tom Robbo, as I mentioned there, finished 2nd, and in 3rd was, in fact, Thyman, who picked up 3rd on his debut. He is back here tonight looking to try and maybe go pole position, potentially here in Mexico. In terms of the championship, well, it's already done, really, for the first 2 positions. Montana leading the way on 236 points. He cannot be caught. Jensen in 2nd on 178. Potentially could be caught if Ruti outscores Jensen. Both, I think, are going to be racing here tonight, though, so Jensen might look to try and seal that deal for 2nd position in the championship. Ruti in 3rd on 132, Barak in 4th on 127, Lou in 5th on 108, Yona 6th on 87, Tom Robbo in 7th on 84. He's catching a good bit of form towards the end of the season. Meti C in 8th on 57, Macho in 9th on 46, and tied with YS Brand also on 46, filling out the top 10 positions. And Jesse, obviously, Montana took his 6th win in 7 races last week. Jensen and Ruti, though, that 2nd and 3rd battle, we'll be watching quite closely.
We will. Almost 2nd and 3rd will be the same, I think. Difference in points is big, 46 points between them. And of course, Barak and Lou with 4th and 5th leave, so they have no chance to take the 3rd or 2nd place away. So yeah, we will have an eye on that as well tonight.
We definitely will, and I think most importantly, we're going to be keeping a big eye on the constructor standings, because the constructor standings can be wrapped up tonight, but only if AlphaTauri finish 1st and 2nd, and Hassan Alpine do not score any points in terms of the constructor standings here tonight. To talk you through how close it actually is, AlphaTauri leading the way on 246 points, Haas in 2nd on 245, so that's where they need to get 1st and 2nd, because that fastest lap point could be all important in this race. Alpine in 3rd on 222, they're a little bit off the pace, but recent form, they're there in 3rd, and they're there on a very good mark as well, hopefully to try and pick up a good result tonight combined. Mercedes in 4th on 166, McLaren 5th on 152, Alfa Romeo in 6th on 132, Williams 7th on 112, Red Bull 8th on 81, Ferrari a point behind in 9th on 80, and Aston Martin in 10th on 70 points. So AlphaTauri leading the constructors by 1 point, Jesse. We've literally gone through all of the permutations in the background. Alpine basically need to score, and I'm just trying to calculate here, they need to score at least 18 points, I think, to stay within title contention.
Yeah, but yeah, qualifying is also really important here. I think there will be much DRS trains, so it will be important your qualifying position here in Mexico, and also penalties.
Yeah, penalties going to be big, important. We saw quite a few last night in F3. And judging by yourself as well in terms of the penalties, we had a lot in F3. Ivo, of course, took the championship last time out. Last night, I should say, in F3. Congratulations to him. Great interview, of course, at the end of the stream alongside you. And this track, Jesse, 4.3 kilometres and then 2.6 mile, 17 corners, 3 DRS zones, plenty of overtaking opportunities. Are we going to see maybe a sort of move, what we saw with Rackler around the outside of turn 4 last night?
Let's wait and see it. I think it could happen, maybe on some other different points. Maybe in the S section we can see an overtake, but yeah, we will just see it.
We will indeed. Stephen Osh, by the way, is a late entry into tonight's race as well. So Stephen Osh is here as well. I think we're pretty much good to go. We've got a full grid of 20. Jensen is in. I can see him probably typing in the chat as well. So I think we're pretty much good to go in terms of the racing. And yeah, we are pretty much good to go. So that means the drivers can now ready up for short qualifying, 36 laps around here in Mexico. I'm looking forward to this, because this could play into anything in terms of the actual action. Montana last week said as well, Jesse, he could be going last to first challenge in qualifying. That opens up qualifying quite a bit, I think.
Yeah, I think also so. But yeah, constructors, I don't think he's really thinking about that as he picks up the driver championship now. But yeah, it will be really fun if Montana does the last to first. Maybe a different winner.
It'll be good to see, I think, if he does do a last to first. He's been, let's just say he's done quite a few of them in the back, in the olden days in FRL when I covered the action here, and he did quite a few. Oh, and it's raining in qualifying. Oh my goodness me. Raining in qualifying. Jesse, you're going to be in for an absolute treat, I think, with this qualifying session when you load in. But it looks like it's intermediate conditions to start off this qualifying session. And if drivers have not practiced in the wet around here, they're going to be in for a big shock.
Well, I think mostly of the drivers didn't practice here in the wet. I think maybe all the drivers didn't practice here in the wet because the chance of rain is not really high here. But yeah, we see rain here in qualifying.
Oh, this opens up qualifying even more. This could go into anybody's ballpark, I think, for qualifying tonight. We've just gone into the lobby and the 18 minutes now have started. It is full intermediate conditions out on track by the looks of the drivers that have loaded in. So that means we're going to see probably around 9 or 10 seconds slower lap times around here. We saw what I would say 113s would be the top end of the bargain, 112s possibly here in FRL F1. Last night, Jesse, we had a very close, good qualifying session. And I think what was the fastest lap? I can't remember. It was like 14.5, I'm tempted to say.
I think so. But yeah, now the question also is in this qualifying session, will it be dry or not?
Oh,
that's a big question for now.
For
now, it's 100% Inter, so.
I dare not think about that, to be honest. It's going to be treacherous, let's just say, in terms of the on-track action here. Certainly in qualifying. Diamond, the first man out on track. He was in the Mercedes last week. He's now in the Alfa Romeo this week. He has refreshed himself with a snack as well. And Diamond debuted. I know him really well from LOE and in other leagues as well. He is such a quick driver. Proved it last week, Jesse. How do you rate his chances coming into tonight? Because you would think he'd be up there in qualifying again.
Yeah, I think he can start in the top 5. I don't know if he's really good in the rain. But yeah, first of all, let's see if it rains in this world qualifying. As Yuri sends me in PM that the whole time in F3 last night was a 1:14.8.
I gave literally Ivo, I think, 3 tenths maybe to his lap time there, to be honest. I've got a very short-term memory, so just ignore what I said in terms of the fastest lap last night in F3. Thyman, though, is the first man out on track. He's coming through in toward Peraltada at turns 16 and 17. Of course, familiar to Formula E viewers of John-Eric Verne and Nelson Piquet crashing famously a couple of years around here. And Thyman comes around Peraltada on the run to the line, and he will set on his course about 200 mile an hour you can normally reach with DRS in towards turn 1. I would say take about 10 mile an hour off down in towards turn number 1, and Thyman's not really pushing, I've got to say, on this first lap as he comes through the right right hand of turn number 1, through the S's section of turns 2 and 3, through the S chicane, and he invalidates coming through turn number 3. Absolutely typical. Marley, I think, is the next man potentially on a lap, as well as Jensen. So Jensen, I think, might be the one to watch out for on this lap. We come more through the S section, through 2 and 3. The rain is actually easing up slightly out on track, so that might mean it could dry a little bit quicker in qualifying, depending on how quick this track dries. 30.8 in the first sector, already around 2 seconds off from the first sectors that we saw last night in F3. As I say, probably around a 10 second deduction in terms of the time. So basically add on 10 seconds and you'll get the times that we're going to be seeing tonight from F3, maybe transferring of course into F1 tonight, as Jensen now comes through the SA section, through turn 9 and then through the right-handers of 10 and then the left-hander of turn 11. You can run off track there. Jensen very sideways coming out of turn number 11. He now runs into the middle sector, 103 flat. We should be seeing 55s through there when it turns dry, or if it turns dry in this qualifying session, as Jensen now comes in towards the FRL section, the baseball stadium of course, famously put on in the 1950s around here, as Jensen now comes through the parallel Tada at turn 16 and the right hand of course at turn 17, and Jensen will be the quickest man so far. Hawk goes quickest, but Jensen goes 2 seconds quicker than him, 25.1. Not a bad lap, I've got to say, on a set of inters.
Not a bad lap for him. I was watching Mali a little bit. He was a little bit quicker in sector 1, but yeah, his lap, he made a big mistake in the S section, so that cost him his lap time, I think.
Yeah, Mali.
Like he made a slightly a mistake for me, but he's looking a bit up in turn 1 now. The question now is, will he improve in sector 1? Are there even some other guys out on track? Sepala maybe?
Sapala, yeah, he is on a lap, 102.4 in the middle sector, so already quicker than Jensen actually through the middle sector. So if this is anything to go by, Sapala's going to be setting a 24.4, well, we've just seen Yorl set a 24.3, so Sapala, I think, is going to go maybe a 24.5, I've got to say, with this lap. Comes around the final corner, on the run to the line. Oh, 10th off, 24.6, he goes second. If I predicted that, honestly, that would have been just, yeah, you would have been putting the national lottery on, I think, with that one. Yovo out on top, Sapala second. Montana, interestingly, not going last the first challenge. He's qualified in 3rd so far.
He is, but yeah, maybe it's gonna be dry, and he's only setting some laps on inters now. The rain seems like it's a bit lighter, but Montana, he's improving already 6/10 in the first sector. So wow. This is not his best lap time so far in this qualifying. Macho goes to P2 with 124.4 flat. So let's see what Montana is gonna do through this difficult S section.
Sapala, by the way, saying in the chat, I've just picked up on this, he practiced 3 laps apparently in before coming in, joining the lobby. Not really great practice. Montana very wide, he invalidates coming out turn number 11. He was looking good up until that point, but the track can get the best, and it has got the best in that case in Montana. But Jesse, multiple laps upping on a set of inters, probably the way to go, because Macho's gone 2nd, Mentos coming in there in 7th, and Yarrow just goes a 10th quicker as well. So clearly multiple runs on a set of medium on a set of intermediate compound tyre. Definitely the way to go, I think, because track evolution and everything.
Yeah, for sure. It's always better to do in the wet conditions multiple laps on full wets or intermediates, because they are getting quicker every time. So yeah, some drivers are definitely doing that. Apart from Jensen and Hulk, I'm seeing, but Hulk is now coming out of pit lane again.
I tell you what, I think Stephen, literally as I say that, I was about to say Stephen Osh was on a good lap. He invalidates coming through turn number 9. Absolutely typical of drivers I go on board with. Yoa out on top, Sapala second. Macho there in 3rd. Just trying to see if there's anybody else on a lap at this stage. Montana, 3.5 tenths up in the first sector. So we're right on board with this lap once again. Rain is definitely getting easing out on track as well. So maybe it's going to dry before the end of qualifying. Yuri has predicted Med-TC for P1. Med-TC is an intermediate specialist, but he does tend to struggle in the race in those conditions. sessions, we had a wet race, I think it was Japan, in TTML F1 this season, and he qualified well up there, ended up a lap down, so hopefully it's not going to be like that. Montana, by the way, 102.1 in the middle sector, 7/10 up, sideways out of turn 12, in through the Ferrosol section. Have a feeling he's going to try and juke me into the pit lane here, so I'm not going to try and preempt anything on this lap as Montana comes through turn 16 at Peraltada. No, he's going to go for the line. He goes around the final corner on the run to the line, and he goes quickest 23.9. That's more like it.
Really good lap from him. As I saw, Vaporizer crashed out of qualifying. I think he invalidated his first lap, and then in his second lap he crashed. Yuri predicted Matty C if he won.
Oh yeah, there is. Oh, Thyman, by the way, spun around the final corner as well. I thought that was Vaporizer actually, but it's the other Alpha Male just off the right hand side. Matty C goes 9th, as I think we mentioned there, 25 flat from the Mercedes man. And yeah, Thyman spun at the final corner. Could he got caught on the outside curb, and he's got no front wing. So Thyman, fortunately, missed the pit lane. He has to go back around for another lap as Montana's out on top. Yoro second, Sapalo in third, YS Brand or Just Brand there in fourth, Macho in fifth, Stephen Osh in sixth, Mentos in seventh. He's on a lap at the minute. Ruti as well, I believe, on a lap coming to the Ferrosol section, and he's 5/10 up actually, Ruti. So Ruti's looking good. Maybe to go second here in terms of this lap. He comes around the final corner, got to really try and get the power on as Ruti around the final corner to the line, nearly goes quickest. Only 0.12 of a second off. Montana out on top, Ruti second, Yarrow in third, with halfway through in qualifying gone.
Yarrow is improving, so he's currently
No.
going to pole now. 123.9, as he had a little bit of a moment at the exit of the final corner, so definitely he can there improve as well.
I think that's what we like to call in the business Tokyo Drift, I think, there from Yarrow. That was excellent coming out of the final corner. But he did go quickest. He went 300ths quicker than Montana. Ruti there in third. He's only 400 second off. Close qualifying so far. And then we've got the likes of Macho potentially to improve. Stephen Osh, I believe, is also on a lap at this stage. Macho was slightly down in the first sector as I rode a ball with him there. Anybody else catching your eye at this stage, though, Jesse?
I will have a look. Isico is in his lap, but he's not catching Yarrow really. 24.8, so goes to 9. But for the rest, I don't think so at this stage of qualifying.
Stephen Osh, though, 102.3 in the middle sector, is not looking too bad. A bit squirrely coming out of turn 12 to the Ferrosol, in towards Peraltada at turn 16 and 17. He's looking quite good on this lap, I've got to be honest. The Aston Martin could go 4th. Ran the final corner, on the run to the line, and he does go 4th. 24.1 and proves 800ths of a second clear of Sapala on that lap. Macho to the line, I think he invalidated. 24.4 is his best time so far, and I do not believe anybody else is really on a lap.
I think many drivers are doing their in-laps. Jensen invalidated. Alman is doing a lap, he's improving almost half a second. We go into the stadium section now. Then this left-hander, slow corner, also in the drive, a bit of a slow corner.
Charlie, by the way, saying in the F2 chat on Discord that apparently it's not raining in FRL F2 tonight, so that's actually a positive there. Harmon to the line, goes 10th, 24.9 from the Williams man, and that might be the first time he's actually gone into the top 10, I would say, for a few qualifying sessions. So good performance by Harmon. They're in P10, 24.9, behind the Alpine, of course, of Physico, who's just started up on a lap. Anybody else on a lap? Oh, Macho's on a lap, and he is a 10th up in the middle sector. 10th and a half up, coming through turn number 12, and now in towards the Ferrosol section, out on track. Yoro, Bunty saying in the chat, Yoro is quick. Not as quick, though. Maybe Montana and Ruti have got a special lap in them, and they will try and destroy. Stephen Osh suddenly just appears out of nowhere and goes quickest, 23.8, as if by magic we were talking about the top step of the podium in qualifying. Stephen Osh now puts in 5 lap-old inters, goes quickest, but I'm intrigued to see how Montana does on this lap.
I am also. Let's see if he can beat that lap from Stephen Osh. It's really close. Between the top 4, they are all within 1/10. So everything can happen in this qualifying. Let's see how much Montana is up in sector 1.
And the answer to that is a 10.5 up already in the first sector. Are we going to see a magical lap here from the champion? Montana comes around turn number 5, then into the double right of turn number 6. You can count that there's 2 corners. Not officially recognised there was 2 corners around here in Mexico. Then in towards the SA section, through the left-hander of 7. Through the right-hander of turn number 8. Through the left-hander of 9. Right, that curve beautifully does the Swiss man as he comes through turn 10, through turn 11, and that's how you take the S section in the wet in Mexico's Montana through the middle sector. 1 or 2 flat in the middle sector. He's lost a tiny bit of time, but he's still in 10.5 up, and he's going quickest at this stage. If he manages to get through this final sector without any mishaps, he comes through the Ferrosol in towards Peril Tardo at turn 16 and 17. Stephen O'Shad on top, but I don't think it'll be for that long because Montana, round the final corner, wrestles the car to the line, and he goes quickest by 600ths of a second, and in the end only improved around 100th of a second in that final sector. So Montana out on top. That's on fresh inters. There's no really differentiation, to be honest, between fresh inters and worn inters, because only 600ths between them.
Yeah, it's really close again, as Ruti is starting a lap as well now in P4. Yarrow coming out of the pit lane at the right side of him. Ruti definitely will go on the curb here. He will turning in for turn 1, then going through this left-hander of turn 2, then turn 3. There's a little bit of chicane and he invalidates.
Until Zapata goes 5th, Rocco was on a lap as well. He's not on a lap, he's invalidated as well. Yusbrand not there on a lap. Mentos, Marley not on a lap. There's not many actually on a lap. Mentos just started one, I think. He's coming through the first sector. Yona as well down in 16th. Hawk has just started up, I think, on a lap, and Ryan has just came back in the pit lane. So yeah, there's not really many on a lap. Montana, Stephen Osh, and Yarrow currently the top 3. Is Montana going again on this lap? He looks quick. I'm going to ride a ball with him cautiously here. He comes around the final couple of corners. Is he still improving on this lap, or is he coming in the pit lane? He's going to improve on this lap. Montana around the final corner, on the run to the line. Oh, and that's more like it. 23.3. Stephen Osh and Yarrow made to look like absolutely ordinary drivers. Montana out on top. Nobody is getting close to that, I'm afraid. That is pole position right there.
I also think so. Pole position for Montana, as it seems like for now, but nothing is officially decided. Yarrow going into his lap also, but getting leading. He's on a 23.9 now. Half a second back of Montana. But now the question is, will he beat Montana? Comes through turn 1, the Dutchman locking a little bit up. Now turn 2, and then going into turn 3. Normally a DRS zone, but now not at a little bit of a moment there at the exit, as Timon is behind him on the outlet, and Yarrow backs off.
Yeah, Yarrow does back off indeed. He backs off, I think, Timon, who's just on that lap ahead of him. Montana, Bunty said in the chat, Montana makes it in one-man show. You were saying Montana needs to make it his own tier. Thank you, Bunty. Nobody, I hope, noticed that sneeze that I had. Montana out on top, Stephen Ocean second, Yo in third. That is the first time, I think, on this game that I've actually sneezed on a live stream. Good job to do it 2 weeks before the end of the game.
Ruti spun in the S section.
Yeah, he was already invalid as well. Ruti the Finn, Hawk just going past him there as well. Montana, Macho goes second, NSX man. So it's NSX 1-2, Montana, Macho currently first and second. Jensen is improving first sector, but he's well down on what Montana was saying in the first sector. 1 or 2.1 though, that's more like it in the middle sector from Jensen. He was complaining he's not put much practice in here tonight, and Jensen potentially is going to try and improve on this lap. He comes down through the right-hander of 10-15 and then in towards the Peraltada corners at turn 16 and 17. And Jensen, I think, is going to go 6th with this lap to the line. Just falls short, goes 9th.
I didn't watch that lap really. The lap that I am watching is from Yarrow now, as he's starting his second lap now on these inters. What will he do in sector 1? He's not improving. 57 thousandths down on his time that he has right now. Stephen Orsh invalidated, qualifying over for him.
Ruti, I think, is quicker in the first sector than Yarrow. Just, I didn't catch his first sector split, but I think he's quicker than Yoro coming through the first sector. Yoro is coming to the middle sector, though. Oh, he's all out of shape, and he's invalidated out of turn number 9. So Yoro invalidates out of there. Ruti's coming through the same part of the lap now, coming through turn 9. Then to the right hand of 10, 11. These Finns do like these conditions, so Ruti might be up there in terms of the actual vanguard, as Meti C has crashed, I think, on the left-hand side, and Ruti has set a 101.8 in the middle sector. He's flying through the middle sector here, Ruti. Comes now in towards the Ferrosol. Don't think he's going to go as quick as Montana. Montana may be set a quicker middle sector, but Ruti's on an absolute cracker of a lap here. He comes through the final corner. I think he's going second. Ruti ran the final corner, on the run to the line, and he goes third in the end, 23.7. Not a bad lap, though. And he has got time for one more run with no seconds remaining in qualifying, as physical was crashed.
Steven Osh also in his lap now. Didn't invalidate so far. But what is he doing in the second sector?
Oh, he's up there.
1/10. Let's see if he can go to P1. I don't think so, but the 2 is possible on this lap.
Yeah, I think P2 could be possible. He had really good qualifying, of course, in America last week. Stephen Osh ran the final corner on the run to the line. And you're right, he goes second, 23.6, only by 0.04 of a second. Macho's invalidated. Ruti, I do not think is on a lap. I'm tempted to say, I think he is actually on a lap. So we'll run above with Ruti again to the middle sector. And do you know what? I think he's going quicker than his previous lap. As soon as I say that, he invalidates again. Absolutely terrible. It's Montana out on top, Stephen Osh in second, Macho in third. Mr. Nick Patel is in the chat, as well as Jensen has crashed into the wall coming out the middle sector. He already invalidated, I think, on his laps. Jensen in the wall out of there. Is Simon on the lap? Simon's not, and he's just crashed coming out of the final corner as well. But Mr. Nick Patel is in the comment section there. My old commentator, of course, from FRL F1 at the back end, I think, of last season. Hopefully you're doing well on this fine Tuesday evening. It's Montana out on top, Stephen Osh in second, Macho in third, and that, Jesse, is the end of qualifying.
It is. Well, now my question is, are these gonna be the same conditions in the race? Of course, I don't hope so.
I hope not. I really hope not. I think everyone's going to be on an even playing field in terms of the conditions. So I think if I was the weather gods, I'd play it soft compound tyres start, hopefully a dry race as well. All depends though on what is going to happen, of course, in these 36 laps out on track. YS Brand's just put in the Discord 23.3 with a load of what looks like angry faces potentially, and I think he's fuming that Montana's gone that quick in qualifying, and so rightly, because he's 3/10 clear of Stephen Osh. Montana out on top. The GOAT of FRL F1 is out on top once again. He's already wrapped up the championships. He doesn't need to worry about that. Maybe it's just a fun race for him out on track now. Stephen Osh in second. Macho there in third. Ruti in fourth, Yarrow there in fifth, still supporting the Ukrainian flag, which is really good to see. YS Brand there in sixth, Apollo in seventh, Rocco in eighth, Jensen, considering he didn't put any practice in ninth, Mentos there in 10th, Yona in 11th, and Harmon in 12th, Marley in 13th, now part of the WR team, so congratulations to him on joining WR. Physico in 14th, Davidenko 15th, Medsi C 16th, then Hawk in 17th, Ryan in 18th, Diamond didn't get a lap time in, Vaporizer didn't get a lap time in, and I've just realised actually Calluma is not attending the race either, so that is why we have got obviously a change in the Alpha Male team here tonight, as it is overcast in as we go into the race. Overcast, but it's dry.
I think you have a PS5 because I see now it's overcast here in Mexico, so rain is possible.
Rain is possible, yeah, potentially, or as I've seen about 99% of the times around here in Mexico, normally starts off cloudy. Around 8 lap 9, the sun comes out. So trust me when I say this, the sun will come out. And maybe, potentially, it's going to be a wet end to the race. I don't know. I'm going to ask in the chat what's the weather conditions for the race. Hopefully somebody might answer me on this. But you never know. But if it is changeable conditions, Jesse, how do the drivers approach that?
I see Stephen Osh saying Jonah, I want to thank you for the rain dance. Does that mean something? I think so.
Qualifying, that was, because it was wet qualifying. And Marley's just put in the chat it's going to be a dry race.
Dry.
Dry all the way. Yeah, dry all the way, and we are better get going on to the formation app. So this is a good time, of course, for you guys at home who are watching the stream to get your top 3 in. I will read them out, of course, as we get to the end of this formation lap, and a full complement of 20 drivers about to do battle here in Mexico. The Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez will get everything up in terms of the tyres, and of course, remember, these drivers did not qualify on a set of dry compounded tyres, so this means they've got a free tyre choice all the way down the field, and there's some really interesting calls. I'm immediately looking at 19th, Thyman, on a set of hards, but Montana and Stephen Osh, set of softs, Yona, the only other driver out in the field on a set of soft compounded tyre, Macho, Ruti, Yoro, YS Brand, Sapala, Rocco, Jensen and Mentos in the top 10 are on a set of mediums, along with Harman, Marley, Physical, Davidenko, Matey C, Hawk, Ryan and Vaporizer. I've missed somebody out in there, I think. Harman, Marley, Physical, Davidenko, Matey C, Hawk, Ryan and Vaporizer. No, I was right. I just questioned myself there. On a set of mediums. And Thyman on a set of hards. Jesse, I'm going to come across to you. If you were a driver in this grid, what strategy would you go for to start this race?
I think also starting on the soft tyre, try to pull a big gap as possible now to all these medium runners. Then go for the one stop, I think.
Yeah, you can make the one stop work, but to me, the set of softs, they're going to be so good at the start of this race. They're going to be potentially 2 seconds quicker than the set of medium compounded tyres. If that's the case, Montana and Stephen are absolutely gone in the front end of this race. As long as we don't get any safety cars or any incidents late on, or early on in this race, Montana and Stephen should be away. They should be about 5, 6, 7 seconds clear, and then Macho and Ruti, those on a set of mediums, will get to gain on the overcut. So we'll have to watch out for that. It's been a very quick formation. We haven't got much in at all. Top 3.
Montana and Stephen Osh on the soft tyres, 1, 2, and then Yarrow and P3.
Interesting. I'm going to go Montana for the win. I'm going to go Rocco for second. And for third, I'm going to go for... Do you know what? I'm going to throw Thyman in there. Down at 19th. Question me on that one. But trust me, if you get to podium, you'll be coming to me and trying to get me for the National Lottery. That's for sure. As Ryan is still stuck in the lobby, I believe. Hopefully this is not going to cause any concerns out on track. We are waiting for him, I believe, to ready up. It shows green flags. Oh, there we go. Now he's ready up. And now we better get going. 5 red lights going out to Mexico. Round 15 of the championship. And it's lights out and away we go already. Montana gets a very good start. And there's a Haas not moved off the start line either. And then it's Sapala who's completely missed the start. Jensen, I think, has pulled off to the left-hand side. I wonder if we're going to get a restart perhaps here as well. Judging by how everyone's weaving down in towards turn number 1. Montana leads the way. Stephen Osh in second. Macho there in third. Ruti in fourth. You're there in fifth. Judging by how Jensen's down in the back of the field, potentially we're going to get a restart, maybe. Have to wait and see on this one, but Montana leads the way. Stephen Osh in second. Macho in third. They're already 1.2 seconds clear. Jensen's put in the chat now. I believe we're going to get a restart. Maybe. Yaro, YS, Brand, 5th and 6th as we go through. Rocco there in 7th, Harman in 8th, Yona in 9th, Physico in 10th. Diamond, by the way, is up 13th. 13th. And Sapala has literally stopped off the start line. Ryan has left the session. I wonder if we had a bit of a lights glitch off the start line. Looks like we're going at the minute. Montana leads the way. Stephen Osh in second. Macho in third. At the end of a very chaotic first lap where a Haas didn't even get off the start line.
Yeah, I think that was Sapala. And that's, I think, the reason why Jensen is at the back.
Ah, he's got damage. Yeah, Jensen's got damage right to the end plate on the car. And he's in AI mode, and he's literally just said in the chat, "What the hell are you doing?" to Sapala. They're in 16th and 17th. Maybe it was a lights glitch. Maybe it was that case. We didn't know. We didn't have a lights glitch, certainly. They went out very quick, though. I've got to say, 3 wide in the background coming up through the final corner, though. Physico, Thyman, Mentos, and Rocco are in a dagger formation coming down the straight. Oh, we got to see 4 wide in towards turn number 1. I hope not. Rocco, Mentos, Physico has to drive back out of this, and Thyman is back down the inside of him. Fair respect there from Physico. Could have easily waltzed around the outside of all 3 of them. Didn't. Stays in P12 for now. Montana leads the way. Steamenosh there in second. Macho in third after a concerning start line there. Jensen into the pit lane. He's the only one that's got damage. But Montana leads Steamenosh in second. And all of that weaving was to get heat into the tyres.
Yeah, Thyman, he had a really good start on these hard tyres. He's already up to P11. Well, we started P19. So really good start from him on these hard tyres. And we need to look out for him at the end of this race.
Yeah, I'm just going to report to Jensen, by the way, in the chat, that maybe a possibility of a lights glitch that we had. Certainly was a lot quicker than what we normally expect in terms of the lights going out in the lobby, so maybe something to look at. If this race is going to continue, we'll continue on, as we say. And it's Montana out on top, Steamenosh there in second, Macho in third as we go to the end of lap 2. And look at how far clear the front 2 are. 4 seconds the gap to Macho. Macho is going to have to try and defend off Ruti, and Yona is now attacking Yoro. Where on earth has Yona come from? He was 11th up the line, or 12th starting off, and now he's up to 5th. On the race, down towards turn number 1, and Yona gets through, and he's into 5th. Soft compound tyres coming alive for Yona. Yona there in 6th, Wise Brandon 7th, Harman in 8th, Rocco in 9th, and Mentos ran off top 10. Thyman, by the way, my prediction, not looking too bad. As soon as I say that, though, he's off wide coming out of turn 3, and he's now getting passed by MTC. To the outside line goes the Finn. The Dutchman, though, launches one down the inside line, forcing MTC offline. MTC forces back that down the inside. Inevitable contact. Thyman holds the position, and MTC is spun round, and I think it might have been all MTC's doing, to be honest.
I'm not gonna say anything on stream about it. Stewards can decide if it's gonna get reported. But that's the reason why I said Montana and Stevenors for a 1-2. Look at that gap, 5 seconds.
Yeah, and they've gained another 1.5 seconds basically on this lap already. And we're not even through the final couple of corners as Vaporizer has crashed through the S section. That might now scupper their strategy, and it does. Oh, it's a VSC. VSC deployed, could still be deployed for full safety car. Literally on time, there we go. There's a full safety car. And Montana and Steamenosh, what do they do now in terms of their strategies? They've been ruined, I think, by this.
They are 100%. The goal was to drive away, but yeah, I don't think that soft tires are really dropping off at this moment, so maybe after the restart they can pull away again, but then not that gap that they had before the safety car, like 5 seconds, maybe like 2-3 seconds.
Yeah, I think possibly so. Montana and Steamenosh, they've got to be, I mean, they're going to be in a bit of a 50-50 split, because they're going to be pitting in around 8 or 9 laps time anyways. What do? Do they stay out, save up their tyres as much as possible underneath the safety car, or possibly pit in, go set of, I dare say, I think they could get a set of mediums to the end of the race, if they're really, really coy on those tyres.
It is difficult. It all depends on how they are saving their tyres. I think I was 26 laps on medium last night, and then I had a puncture, but yeah, I think these 2 guys can manage their tires much better than they are both.
Oh!
No!
Steamenosh stays out! Wow!
Maybe he's listening on the stream.
Montana might be listening to B-Tech James here in the commentary box, because he's in the pit lane, and a fresh set of softs go on. So Montana goes fresh set of softs, which is not entirely out of the reckoning. He's going to come out, I think, behind MTC. Yeah, he will come out behind MTC, coming out the pit lane. And he's got a wall of medium runners ahead of him. I'm not sure if that's the right call, to be honest. I think Montana's going to end up doing what he did. I can't remember what race it was. I think it was LOE Abu Dhabi, or LOE... It was a race in LOE, and he went for a strategy like this. He ended up outside the points. So Montana, maybe, possibly, 14th position on a set of softs. He inevitably gained the positions, but just how many positions will he gain? Because he's got a wall of medium runners ahead who are clearly going to stay out, as well as Stephen Osh.
Yeah, Montana will be definitely in traffic right now on this new set of softs, because there's a chance these medium runners are gonna battle with each other. So I think it's the best goal also from Montana to go for a new set of softs and not staying out.
Bunty, by the way, saying in the chat, yeah, Thyman WTF best first lap of the season. He's down in 15th now, unfortunately. He went on to a set of medium compound tyres again. So, obviously he went on hard, now into a set of mediums. Not a bad call, I think, for Thyman. All depends, though, if he can keep up with the NSX man, who was ahead of him, out on track. Safety car's going to be coming in next lap around, I think. We're still waiting for Jensen to hook back on to the back of the field. But Stephen Osh leads the way, Macho in second, Ruti in third. Stephen Osh stays out, as inevitably you would expect him to. And the Aston Martin will lead on to lap 6. We're sixth of the way through in this race. Stephen Osh out on top, Macho second, Ruti in third. We'll run you through the position gains now. Most positions lost, obviously, is Montana, because he came in the pits for a set of soft compound tyre. Most positions gained, though, Jesse. Harmon, 6 positions, Physico on 5, and Thyman has also gained 4 positions as a result.
At time, and as I said, we need to look out for him. He pits to the medium now, but he had a really good start on the hard tires. I remember that he was in P11 for a bit of laps, so maybe his pace is also good on these mediums. Let's see. He's behind the champion, so...
Yeah, and Thyman and Montana, famously... Oh, as Thyman goes past him! Thyman goes past him and Montana just chops him up. And Thyman's now trying to get ahead of him. Don't know what's going on here. Is Montana having to give up the position? Or is he doing a 10 car length thing here? That's on... Montana has dropped behind Thyman. Thyman is going to let him back through. Oh, and Yona goes past as well. This is absolute chaos. Don't know what's going on. And this is absolute chaos. There's a gentleman's agreement, and somehow Yona was 2 positions ahead of where he was. So Yona now is technically in the net lead of this race under the safety car. I have a feeling what has happened there is they both got illegal overtakes on each other. Montana is the one that's got the legal overtake latest on the back of Thyman. And the coding in the game has literally said, no, you're not having that position. Thyman in 15th, Montana in 16th. Unfortunately for Montana, he's lost a position to Thyman. In fact, he's lost 2 positions to both Yona and Montana and Thyman as safety goes in this lap. And Stephen Osh is already through the baseball stadium section.
You will go a little bit late, I think, to give not that much slipstream to the cars behind. Ryan.
How's he done that? He's picked up a 3-second penalty underneath a safety car restart. Dare not laugh at that, but it's the first 3-second penalty of the night. Stephen Osh leads the way, down in towards turn number 1. Matcha's going to try and follow through, but Justbrand on the back of Yoro has got a really good start, and the QRT man tries to go all the way around the outside, in towards turn number 1. Beautiful move this will be if he pulls this off. Yoro's on the outside line though. Oh, and does him for absolute chips around the outside. Beautiful move by Yoro to defend the position into 4th. Harmon's right on the back as well, and he's going formally with his former QRT teammate, as now Justbrand now tries to go down the inside of Yoro. Yoro defends, and Harmon goes wide and deep in towards turn number 5. There's going to be contact. Harmon spun round. Again, all of his own doing, I think. Montana, by the way, is down in 15th. He's side by side with Diamond. I don't know what's happening in towards turn 6. Matey C is sideways. Sapala is through as well on Yona. So Yona is now ahead of Matey C as a result. Montana, 13th. Harmon there down into 15th. Disappointing so far for him. He can obviously recover and relax now in this race, given that he's not around drivers that can punt him maybe off circuit. But Stephen Osh leads the way. Macho second, Ruti in third. Chaos safety car restart.
It is, and what I said, when Montana pitted to those softs, we see some medium runners battling, and their time...
That's Montana.
Yeah, it is. He's overtaking Matty C here. Really good overtake from Montana, of course, the champion. He is in...
Do you know what? Do you know what? He's going to get Yona and Sapala as well. Oh, he pulls the outside line. Yona's going to give him room, surely. But look at the run he's going to get on Sapala. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes all the way around the inside here and towards turn number 1. Oh, look at that. Beautiful move down the inside line. Called that from a mile back. Sapolo and Jona's in the wall. Sapolo in the wall. He's at the race. Jona absolutely chopped up there as well. And that might bring out another safety car, and it indeed does. So it's another safety car out on track. Standards of driving slipping. Jona, what happened there was Sapolo was down the inside of Jona at turn 1. Jona was down the inside of Sapolo at turn number 1. Jona tried to get, they're basically interlocked on each other, and Sapolo's went in the wall. Simple as that.
A lucky incident between them both. Stephen Osh, I think he will pit now to a set of mediums.
He could do. I think he might stay out though. I really have a feeling he might stay out here. I don't know. Judging by how quick he's going though, underneath the safety car, I think he's coming back in the pit lane. So Stephen Osh, see what he's going to do. Ryan keeps leaving the session, so hopefully it won't cause any more disconnects in the session. Stephen Osh is into the pit lane from the lead of the race. Macho stays out, Ruti stays out, Yaro, Weissbrand, Mentos, Rocco in, and Marley in as well. And Physico.
Let's see in that time and overtakes him in the pit lane.
How's he done that? How on earth has he done that? I do not know. I didn't even see that, to be honest. But Thymon's in. Fresh set of mediums go on. Now this is different because Rocco, Marley, Physico, MTC, Harmon, Hawk, Jensen, and Davidenko, and Jona, with a front wing change as well as a result of that incident, they all go, set of softs. Ryan has retired. He's crashed, actually, down the pit straight.
I think he did that on purpose, so his AI doesn't cause problems, because he still keeps leaving the session. And now it's a safety car, so I think that is the case.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, if I was a steward, I'd look at that and think, fair play. I've been losing connection, 3 or 4 times in this race. I may as well do something about it. My AI has missed the pit lane. He took control of his car, I think, through the final corner, and he's probably just thought, you know what, screw this. I don't want to cause any more issues. Clearly I know what the game is like, and Ryan has obviously done that. Yes, it's on purpose, it might get viewed that way, but if I was Ryan, I don't know, it's a bit of a difficult one, because you sort of want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but then again, rules are rules.
Rules are rules, as you say. Yes, some medium runners stayed out. That's the top 5. Yarrow also picked up a 3-second time penalty, so that will be crucial at the end of the race. Same for Timon.
Yeah, and
penalties. You're not seeing them really much. And you can go on now, James.
Yarrow 3 seconds, Timon on 3 seconds. That's literally it. Hawk, I think, is back in the pit lane. He is indeed. Hawk, yeah, set of mediums will go on. They can make 26 laps, I think, to the end. So Hawk, not on a bad strategy there, goes into the pit lane. Set of mediums go back out, and he's now on a set of those mediums to the end of the race. But yeah, Yarrow and Timon, only 3-second penalties so far. And Stephen Osh, I think rather fortunately, is behind Montana coming out of the pit lane. I have a feeling he was going to be behind a lot more cars than that. And Stephen Osh is in a net second position behind Montana, who has worn a soft set around 5 laps so far. Stephen Osh on fresh mediums, stays within a second. He'll come into play.
Let's see what he can do. Also, Rocco we need to watch out for. It is AlphaTauri. Also on a new set of soft tires, so when can he overtake Stephen Osh, maybe? That's the question.
Yuri, by the way, saying in the chat, Jesse and James, what did you have for breakfast today? I had... Do I dare say what I had? Yeah, I may as well. Chocolate chip cookies.
I had some fries.
You had what?
I had some fries.
Fries? Interesting. Interesting. And you were also saying as well in the chat, this race looks like F3 with all those spins, crashes and safety cars. Speaking of safety cars in this lap, and means Macho is the virtual Burt Malander. He's now the virtual safety car. Judging by how slow he's going at the minute, I think this is going out of peril Tarda. He will speed up, coming to the stadium section, into Peraltada, and he'll go from there as Sapala has left the session after his incident with Yona. Obviously, Yona now down in 16th position after that incident. And Macho, is he going to do exactly what I thought he might do and go speeding up into the final corners? No, as Diamond has spun in the background and has lost all positions. So Thurman down at the back of the field. Not sure what happened there. Very slow restart, and Macho leads the way underneath this restart. But YS runs right on the back of Yarrow. And look at Mentos and Montana as well. It's 4 wide potentially down the straight. Yona's into the pit lane for 5-second penalty. And Montana's going to get them both. Maybe even get 3 down and towards turn number 1. He's on the back of YS Brand. Shooting on the set of softs. He's going to fly past down the inside line. He does exactly that. YS Brand's still there on the Frenchman. On the inside line. Gets the elbows out of Montana. Yarrow tries to get now the run on both of them in behind, but I think Montana just about gets that done. There's a spinner in the background. Hawk, I think, has spun maybe in a collision with Harmon, I think, in that. So Harmon and Hawk around. Rocco tries to go around the outside of Yarrow in towards turn number 5. These driving standards are terrible so far. Hopefully they'll clean it up underneath the safety car restart. Macho leads the way. Ruti in second. Montana there in third. Montana has gained 3 positions off the start. Exactly what he wanted. And he is on the back of Ruti.
His strategy is working so far. And I think if Montana overtakes Macho and he is quicker than over Ruti, and he's, well, he will be quicker than Macho. I think Macho will let him by then. Of course, both in the NSX team. So let's see when Montana will overtake Ruti. I think down the inside of turn 1.
Yeah, you'd assume so. I mean, probably down the straight in towards turn number 1, to be honest, judging by how quick he's cluttered in. Here comes Montana on the inside line, in towards turn number 1. He's on the back of Macho as well, but there should be Montana into second. Ruti just backs off. Yeah, fair play to him. Doesn't want to get involved. He's into second. Oh, and Myers Frank goes for a spin on the curb through turn number 1, and that now opens up Yarrow to attack Rocco, who had to take avoiding action in that incident, and Stephen Osh all of a sudden is now back into play as he chases down Yarrow side by side. In towards turn number 4, Yona was retired in the pit lane. Another 5-second penalty picked up from there, and Stephen Osh and Yarrow get caught in each other. There's more contact, and Marley hops underneath the inside of both of them and is going 3 wide in towards turn 6 and gets the job done, and he gains both positions.
Yarrow lost many positions because of all this, and it's a yellow flag in sector 3. That's for Yona, who retired in the pit lane. Yeah. Yarrow lost 3 positions, I think, as he almost spun there at the S section. That's a really close moment for him.
And Mentos takes full action on that, gets the job done into turn number 12 and gets the job done and chops off Yarrow coming to the Ferrosol section as well. And now look at the battle for the lead, because here comes Macho Montana, and Montana is going to idle past him. If he's not even there, the Mercedes man pulls alongside. Has he got the pace? He has to use up ERS to try and get alongside him. Macho's quick down the straight, and Montana will take the lead of the race. Gentleman's agreement between the NSX boys, and now Ruti there in third position, trying to wrap up that third position here tonight, of course. There, Métis and Mentos forcing each other on track. Oh, and there's absolute carnage through the chicane. Drivers know better than that, surely. Yo has to take complete avoiding action, cuts over the curb, and Thyron nearly forced into the wall there, slightly by Mentos as well. It's all getting a little bit aggressive, I've got to say, out on track, as Diamond tries to put off the Rattler move around the outside of Métis, down the inside line. Mentos is going to get the switchback of perfection, but Diamond's going to get the job to the Métis, surely. Through turn 6, Métis still there. Unbelievably, the Finns fighting back on the Dutchman, and the F1 Esports Challengers former driver gets through and he's into 8th. Diamond in 9th, great battle that. Mentos tried the up and under, didn't work. Métis holds a position into 8th.
Really good battle between them and Yarrow. We saw him cutting the chicane in turn 1, and now he misses his braking point.
Oh. I'm honestly looking at this and thinking, do I want to watch any more of this, to be honest? It's just, maybe in terms of driving zone, Wyatt Brand's into the pit lane. I think he might have damage possibly on that car. Davidenko and Yarrow are going to be side by side. Ruti and Macho, I think, more immediately are going to be side by side, maybe in towards turn number 4. Physical's got the move done on Stephen Osh. All sorts of happening. We'll go on board with the battle for second, though. Montana's a second and a half clear of Macho, who will defend, like his life depends on it, on Ruti. Ruti closing in the papaya coloured McLaren. Doesn't get the move done, waiting behind, and I think fair play on that one. He wants to wait in behind. But look who was joining the party, Jesse. Rocco.
He is quick on this softs. As we see Macho and Ruti, of course, on those 13 laps of mediums where they started the race on, and now Rocco on a set of soft tyres. That is actually the fastest lap. Jensen has it with 1:16.276. Yeah, if Rocco overtakes Macho and Ruti, it's still not enough for the constructor.
Yeah, it won't be at all. Rocco, by the way, on the back of Ruti. Who did I predict, by the way, for second position in this race? Oh, Macho very wide out of Peraltada. I'll come back to that in a second. Macho was so wide out of Peraltada, he nearly went in the wall, Bottas style, in qualifying from 2019. Rocco now on the back, though, is going to hunt down Macho, and the man who I predicted for P2 is about to get P2 maybe in towards turn number 1. The AlphaTauri on the back of the Mercedes doesn't get the job done. Marley joins in the fight as well. Four-way fight. The sun's coming out as well here in Mexico. Montana leads the way. Rocco gets caught on the curb slightly. Is he going to take a run at Macho and towards turn number 4? I think he's too far back. And the AlphaTauri... Oh, he absolutely lunged it down the inside line. And he has to relinquish position because Macho stays second. Rocco in third. I think Rocco now needs to wait his turn. Save up that ERS. Have a go into turn 12.
He definitely will with ERS also on that little bit. On that little straight. Look at Montana. Almost 3 seconds away now.
Yeah, going for 7th win in 8 races here tonight. Ruti, by the way, is under pressure from Marley. Marley down the inside line. Just nearly gets the move done. Forces Ruti out wide into the Ferrosol. Maybe for the switchback. Marley hangs on in behind. Rocco didn't attempt, by the way. He was too far back out of the S section to get a run onto turn number 12 at Macho. But now, down turn number 1, this is going to be his run for second position. On the back, 3/10 away. Should be job done for Rocco here. Macho pulls the inside line, will not defend, and Rocco is through and he's into second position. Macho there in third. Diamond, by the way, got overtaken by Matey C and all of that as well, which we didn't mention. Ruti goes deep into turn 1, and Physico goes around the outside of Marley, taps him slightly. There wasn't a lot in that, to be honest, to cause contact. Marley is spun round, he's on the grass, and he relinquishes so many positions. At least he's still in the top 10, I was going to say, but he's now in 12th. Oh, and he rejoins just in front of Yarrow, and how on earth it didn't collide with each other there is a miracle.
Luckily the ghosting system has worked.
Thank goodness for the ghosting system, I think we can say here tonight. Montana leads the way, Rocco in second, Macho in third, Ruti in fourth, Physical there on the back in fifth, and Stephen Osh in sixth. Matey C 7th, Diamond in 8th, he's picked up another penalty. Oh, and he's gone so far wide, coming off the S section. He might have been trying to make for the Mexican border, the American border, to be honest. There, Harmon has spun in the first sector as well. Montana leading the way, 3 seconds the gap. But this is now the time, Jesse, for Montana maybe to start saving his tyres a bit, because Rocco's now 3 seconds behind. 4 up fresher tyres. He'll have 20% better tyres, I think, compared to Montana. So Rocco is entitled, really, to maybe close up and have a go at Montana.
Yeah, Montana, he has a 3-second lead for now, needs still to pit, because he started on the softs and pitted to the soft. So yeah, around lap 20, maybe he will go to the mediums. Iceberg picks up a 3-second time penalty.
I've just clicked on something at this moment in time. As it stands, Montana and Rocco, Physical's in 5th, 43 points, 10, 33. I think, you know, AlphaTauri, at this stage in the race, are going to wrap up the constructors. If it stays as it is. Probably won't, but if it stays as it is, AlphaTauri will, I think, win the constructors, because Haas are not in the points.
It could be, but as I see, Montana picked up a 3-second time penalty.
He did. He did, and I was going to mention that actually, and I totally forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, so Montana has picked up that 3-second penalty, but halfway through the race, Physical's on the back of Ruti. The Finns, once again, are having a party, maybe in towards turn number 1 here. Physical on the back of Ruti. There are the penalties, by the way. Montana on 3, Macho on 3, Ruti on 3, Physical on 3, Thyman on 6. That man there, Yaro, who's passing Mentos, is on 3. Mentos on the outside through turn number 1. Not going to stick his nose in here, is he? Yo, just about defends, and that's what happens. And Marley picks up 2 free positions as a result as well. So Marley's doing his into 10th. He's got 3 seconds. Yoa's on 3, Mentos on 6, Jensen on 5, and Span on 3. That is the penalty rundown at the halfway stage in this race. But as it stands, I'm confident in saying AlphaTauri, at this moment in time, if the race was to stop as it is, will wrap up the constructors with 43 points. And they'll be more than 50 points clear of Alpine in the Constructors' battle, and 44 points clear of Marley. Actually, no, I'll scrap that. Marley's now getting a point, so it's 43 points now. Will it still win? I don't know.
They have a 1 point gap now in the Constructor.
So hang on, we need to do maths here. 42... Yeah, 43 points they'll be on. They'll be on 43 points. They won't do enough. Macho is going to attack Rockelman towards turn number 1. And this is not good news for the AlphaTauri team, as Macho was doing his into 2nd. Rockel now in 3rd. And Macho's going to get the DRS, remember, down the straight as well. Physical's picked up a 3-second penalty again for cutting, I think, turn number 1, maybe. And Physical's still on the back of Ruti. They're having a good battle there for 4th and 5th. They're involved in this battle. Stephen Osh, though, has joined the fray. On that set of mediums, clearly on the better tyre than everyone else in this group. Stephen Osh, I can't rule him out for the race win here.
He can definitely win. He has no penalties. I'm gonna look how much warnings he has. 0 warnings, so a clean race for Stephen Osh for now. And he can win it as Rocco picks up the 3-second time penalty now.
He does indeed, and it's now beginning to unravel as the Aston Martin maybe is going to gain 5 positions as it stands, or 4 positions as it stands, in terms of the points. Marley also on points for Haas. Going to be interesting. It's going to be changing towards the end of this race. We'll try and bring you up to speed with the latest gaps if we can, just off my maths alone. Rocco on the back of Macho's going to retake 2nd position though, out on track, so Rocco through and he's into 2nd. Macho there in 3rd, Ruti in 4th, Physical in 5th, Stephen Osh in 6th. Nothing really happening, dare I say it, out on track so far in this second half of the race. Which I think is good, because the first half was chaos.
The first half was chaos, with maybe some poor driving standards as well. But now luckily it's going clean. It's Montana, yeah. When will he pit? 3 seconds ahead of Rocco now. Will he go in this lap?
14 laps and a set of softs. Yeah, he's losing time now to Rocco. Rocco's gaining time for the first time, I think, all race. So Montana, for me, 2.9 seconds. This is the time to pit in. I know Rocco's got a 3-second penalty behind, but still, if I was Montana, I'd be putting in this lap. If I was in his shoes, 16 laps and a set of softs should manage. And beautifully on cue, he's into the pit lane.
He is into the pit lane. Rocco, of course, staying out. Also
Physical's in. Yeah, Physical in the pit lane as well, and behind Montana. Set of mediums go on.
He did soft.
He did double softs, didn't he? Yes.
Yeah, he started on soft, pitted to soft under the safety car, and now he needs to go to mediums. Or he wants to get disqualified from the race. But I don't think he wants that. So
Definitely.
Yeah, Montana needs to make a comeback now, like in Abu Dhabi. He did that also.
Yeah, definitely doesn't want to do that, certainly. But Montana, yeah, he's in 11th position. On the back of Mentos, he's got traffic ahead of him. That's going to be the big factor. If I was Rocco, I'd be putting in this lap. Going on a set of softs, and then trying to get 15 laps on that set of softs. Because if I was Rocco, I know I'd be 3 seconds behind Montana. I want to try and put myself in a position where I can drag Montana along, drag the rest of the group along, have a 6-way fight for the lead, But Rocco, I know he's got pace. He knows he's got pace. I think he should come in the pit lane now, go for the undercut on Montana, 15 laps and a set of softs, and he's in. Beautifully in. So Rocco's in the pit lane. Exactly what I thought was going to happen is coming true.
Macho as well into the pit lane, going to a set of soft tires. So now Ruti is leading with 21 laps.
Mediums! Mediums for Rocco!
I think he also... Yeah, he did. I think he also did...
Oh, and they're gonna be behind Jensen here, I think, as well. Sorry, that's Physico. Where the hell's Physico came out of this? Physico's now is in a net 3rd position. He's ahead of Macho. He's behind Rocco on a set of softs. Physico could be landing himself a podium here. This is unbelievable. Ruti leads the way. Stephen Osh in 2nd. Currently, he can stay out. Stephen Osh can stay out, so he's in the actual lead of this race, really, out on track. Ruti has to pit in because he hasn't pitted in so far. Matey C will. Marley will. Simon can stay out. Rocco now in a set of mediums. Is my top 3 really going to come true? Of Montana, Rocco and Thyman?
It could be Master Predictor James. That's the question for now. Macho also picked up another penalty. So for now,
oh
if
dear.
Macho gets
oh, and Thyman spun. He's lost it coming through turn number 12. Commentator's curse and a half. He is in he's going to be coming in the pit lane. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually retires from the race as well. Oh, and he nearly does a Bottas into the wall. Coming out of Peraltada. And Thyman into the pit lane. He's going to crash on the pit wall. Oh my goodness me. Ruti, by the way, is in the pits. Matey C in the pits. Thyman has crashed in the pit lane. I think that is unintentional, but it could deploy a safety car. That could deploy a safety car. Stephen Rush leads the way. Yaro in 2nd. Montana in 3rd. Jensen in 4th. Macho there in 5th. And Rocco side by side with Physico. Coming through the first sector. Coming through turns 2 and 3. And Physico's on the back of Rocco to the outside line. In towards turn number 4. Should get the job done. And Rocco backs out. So Physico through and he's into 6th. And I think there also, Macho got ahead of Jensen.
He is, and Montana, he's now 14.5 seconds behind Stephen Osh. He needs to gain that. Well, he needs to gain 17.5 seconds because he needs to drive 3 seconds away as well, so.
Jensen's surely going to let Physico through here at turn 12. Surely. No, he doesn't. Jensen's not letting Macho through. Of Macho. Physico through even. Strange.
Maybe they're waiting for the DRS.
Yeah. Yeah, I was in the pit lane as well. Oh, Jensen's coming in, another wonder. So Jensen's in the pit lane, but that's going to bring Ruti into play on the back of Physico, who does have DRS, but look at Ruti using up the ERS. He's on the back now of the Finn, and the 2 Finns are going to go side by side. Rocco's in behind, maybe whetting his appetite on a little bit of a collision, maybe into turn 1 between these two, but that's not the case, because Ruti down the inside line gets the job done. He's through and he's into 4th. Physico there in 5th, Rocco there in 6th. He's on the back of this though. His race is pretty much longer, but as long as he can stay within a second of Physico and Ruti, Rocco has got a big chance of winning here, or not winning, but he's got a big chance of certainly picking up a top 3 finish.
Yes, as Physico also has 6 seconds now of penalties.
I dare not look, by the way, at the comments that are coming through.
Oh god.
Congratulations to Ballboy if that is the case. Congratulations to Ballboy. I know I've been speaking for him, that is not the case, so I think you may have fake news there in the chat.
I think it's a joke or something, but...
Yeah, it is. They go them two regularly in the GTA streams. That Ballboy does. But yeah, TDB saying he hit the tire hitbox was a bit too big. Unfortunately for him, we saw that on live stream, and that might not go down with the stewards perhaps. But I know for a fact it wasn't intentional at all. He was trying to get in the pit lane, no front wing, locked up into the pit wall. Then try to recover, and he's hit the wall about 20 miles an hour. So, yeah, as I say, rules are rules. Might have a look into that, the stewards, but it all depends on what Mr. Scar has to say on it.
Well, and I'm looking to the gap from Steven Orsh and Montana. And as it stands for now, it's not enough for Montana for the win, as I see the striking distance between them now.
Yeah, but it all... Stephen Osh, will he pit in? Will he pit in?
Which lap he actually pit?
He pitted about lap 10, I think. He pitted on the second safety car.
Well, he can make it till the end, so I don't see a point in pitting.
Well, he has lost around 0.5 of a second there to Montana through that final sector alone. So Stephen Osh, if I was him, I'd be staying out. I would stay out, try and hold that gap, because 12 seconds around this track, trust me, 12 seconds with this track is a big amount to gain. Stephen Osh's tyres are not going to fall off the cliff. Montana's tyres aren't coming online either. He's only gained 0.2 in the first sector. But the time of rate that he's going to be catching later on, I think Stephen Osh, the more that these laps tick down, if he's still 10 seconds clear come lap 30, Stephen Osh has won.
Yeah, but also Montana needs to drive 3 seconds away, so...
Yeah. Exactly, and he was a bit sideways out of turn 11 as well.
Yeah, I was on board with him.
So that from the helicopter cam, that was so drift-like for Montana coming out of the section. Stephen also has no pens, he can stick behind Montana if needed. Yep, totally agree, he is there in the lead of the race. No penalties for his name. Montana's only gained another 0.6 of a second. So basically he's adding a 1/10 of a second on to his time every single lap. Add that up towards the end, I don't think he'll get close. Ruti on the back of Macho gets the job done, he's through and he's into third. And now, that brings Ruti and Macho, maybe the quicker driver ahead of Macho as well. Ruti, going to be on the back of Montana. Oh, this is going to be a good fight between these three, I think, because nothing else really is happening in this race.
I hope so. As Icebrand gets in the fastest lap now with a 1:15.2.
He does indeed. He's down in 12th position as well. Penalty, by the way, update 3/4 of the way through the race. Montana's on 3, Ruti on 6, Macho on 9. So Montana really doesn't have to push at all. He could let these guys through and just stick in behind. Physico, though, has got 6 seconds. He's 3 seconds off the back of Macho. So Physico now needs to up his game. He now needs to up his pace. Judging by that S section, though, I think he's going backwards rather than forwards, with MedTC obviously chasing him down, and he will gain that position as a result, because he's only got 3 seconds worth of penalties. Rocco on 3, Yoro on 3, Marley on 12, Mental Sports on 9, he's now on 12, Weisbrand on 6, and Harmon on 6. There's a thing, Ruti is on the back of Montana, and you know what this means, the Finn on the back of the Swiss man. I've seen this fight before, we've seen this fight before this season, and Ruti's got us idle past Montana, down in towards turn number 1, and that's exactly what Montana wants. Put Ruti ahead of him, get within a second, being dragged along. Ruti's the quicker driver now. Stephen Osh, 10 seconds the gap, lap 28, halfway through lap 28. Stephen Osh leads the way. Ruti in second, Montana in third. And Jesse now, Ruti ahead of Montana, crucial for Montana's chances in this race win. Have we lost him?
Yeah. The gap is 10 seconds. 30 actually.
It's coming down now. It's coming down, and Ruti's actually got Montana outside of a second. Wow. Ruti is seriously on fire. We were thinking Montana had the pace. Ruti's now got significant pace. He's closed to second on Stephen Osh this lap. Even more, 1.2, 1.3 seconds now in towards Pavel Tada. Ruti's flying. And I'm sorry to say, Stephen Osh, you've got a McLaren coming up your rear wing in possibly 4 or 5 laps' time.
Again, as Macho also will go for the move on Montana. This is not really helping Montana, but yeah, Ruti is now coming up.
MTC gets the job done on Physical as well. He's through and he's into 5th. But Stephen Osh, 8.4 seconds. That gap is going to come down big time. Over these next 3 or 4 laps, Ruti is going to treat every single one of these laps like a qualifying lap. He's got to gain, basically, I would say 1.5 to 2 seconds per lap on these tyres as it stands. Stephen is 8 seconds ahead of him. Note that gap now and tell me, well, I'll tell you probably in a few 4 or 5 laps time, Ruti, I think, will be on the back of him in those 4 or 5 laps because he's so quick. Matches just picked up another penalty as well, so that helps out Montana quite a lot in 4th. Metis and Physical having a good battle as well. The 2 Finns once again going out. What is it with Finns and battling here tonight? We've seen plenty of it. Physical and Metis 5th and 6th, and I think Jensen is around the inside of Davydenko through turn 6 as well. So Jensen through he's into 12th.
He is into 12th now. Now, he's picking up points, I think, also. Because Maldi on 12 seconds, Mentos on 12 seconds, and Mentos 6. So, yeah, Ruti, he is 7 seconds behind now. Ooh, a little bit of a slide there, coming out of that corner.
7 seconds now the gap, and Ruti still closing them down. Speaking of closing down, Physical on the back of MedTC once again, and he's probably going to wait until the final couple of laps to try and get that move done. Look at Ruti's pace though. Stephen Osher's tyres are now beginning to go off. 20 laps into this stint, he's committed to the end of this race. The more that Ruti though wears his tyres out, the more he gains on Macho and Montana, the more he is taking out of those tyres. Macho picks up another penalty. He picked up one last lap around as well, but Ruti is taking so much more out of those tyres now, I'm beginning to think he's not going to do it.
Well, 6 seconds is the gap, but 12 seconds it really is, because Ruti has 6 seconds, so I think Steve will win it.
Retirement. Macho's in and retires out of the pit lane. Disappointing. I don't blame him. We picked up so many penalties, to be honest, and I know frustration can get the better of drivers sometimes, but he was in a possible podium position, and he's retired out the race and has now given Alpine and Haas more points.
He is. So constructors will go to the final race in Brazil next week.
It will indeed. Yeah, because Montana's 3rd, Rocco's 6th, Physical's 5th. All Alpine need to do is score less than 18 points, I think, to stay within the title. They're doing that. They are 15, 23, 15, so 8 points basically AlphaTauri's getting on Alpine. It's going to put it as a 30-point gap, I think. Haas is down in 9th with Marley, who's on the back of Mentos for that position as well. Be better to find at the end of the race, I think, in terms of where everyone's going to finish. But Marley, currently in 9th, Haas are going to be 23 points behind, I think, going into the final race. So, basically, AlphaTauri, all they need to do is win the race with one of their drivers. They've won the Constructors.
Let's see in Brazil, of course, chance of rain. There's a chance.
Always a chance of rain. There's a chance that MTC as well was going to go around the outside of Physico through turn number 1. He got overtaken by Physico, and I thought MTC was going to go back around the outside of him. But fair play to them. 4th and 5th. Physico was having his best race of the season tonight. Have to agree with that. 7 seconds the gap to Montana. He wouldn't care in the slightest. Physico has driven, I think, his best race of the season.
I also think so, but yeah, maybe we can do something in Brazil, but we don't know. So, yeah. As Montana also picked up another penalty, so he's here in 6 seconds now.
Yeah, there is the rundown of the penalties on the left-hand side. 6 seconds for Ruti, Montana, Physico, Yaro, YS Brown and Harmon. 3 seconds for Rocco and Meti C. and Mentos and Marley have gained 12. And as soon as I say that, Marley's picked up 15, and Harmon now has picked up 9 seconds worth of penalties. So good to see. Drivers are keeping us out on toes in terms of the penalties tonight as well. 4.2 seconds to Stephen Osh and Ricci the gap for the lead. Not going to be enough. YS Brand, by the way, has just got to move down on Marley. So YS Brand now 9th, Marley now 10th, and an extra point to the AlphaTauri mark. And I think they're now 24 points clear of Haas going into the final round of the championship. With Timo, by the way, saying in the chat that Stephen Osh only on 60% tyre wear. And I think that's proven it, because Ricci is now not gaining at all.
Yes, Ricci, his tyres are falling off at this stage of the race. As it's lap 33 now. And also, Haas will not score any point in this race because Marley has 50 seconds and Jensen is in P11. So, more points for Alpine also.
But what about if Jensen and Davydenko come in the pit lane then? Then the 15 seconds is gone. Has to rely on Jensen and Davydenko basically to come in the pit lane. That's what I'm trying to say with that. Stephen Osh leads the way, 3.2 seconds. Ricci in second, Montana in third. Montana's strategy call in the end, going double softs and then mediums, hasn't really worked out for him. And I think he should have done the Stephen Osh strategy, because in the end he would be 5 seconds clear. Métis by the way, on the back of Physico. Doesn't go for the move in towards turn number 1. Really good fight between these guys. They've got to watch out though in behind. Rocco's gaining. Rocco is gaining big time on these guys now. He's gained 0.5 of a second through the first couple of corners. Métis and Physico, maybe if the battle too hard, are going to be in a bit of trouble here, because Rocco is gaining. I wouldn't rule Rocco out, potentially, for getting both of them before the end of the race. And he is on 3 seconds as well, so he's got all to play for.
Marley picked up another 3-second time penalty. He's on 18 seconds.
And he's going to get them moved up maybe around the outside of Mentos here, coming through turn number 5. And Mentos stays ahead. So Mentos through and he's into 9th. Marley stays P10 at this moment in time. Timo saying in the chat, replace Montana with Team Rocket and you're spot on. Yeah, potentially so. Final 2 laps of the race here. What we thought was going to be a restarted race has turned in actually to be a pretty good race by all standards. Driving standards have fell a little bit. I know it's Mexico and I know it's top tier and I know it's the final race of the season next week, but driving standards are going to be withheld always in any league at all. Stephen Osh though leads the way. Unless he picks up a puncture, he's going to be winning this race. Ricci in second, Montana in third as we now come through the final final lap and a half out on track. Marley is storming at Mentos down towards turn number 1. That's for P9. So Marley through and he's into P9. Mentos there in 10th. They're fighting for that position. Jensen though was gaining on both of them. So Jensen obviously going to overtake Marley and Mentos come the end of the race in terms of penalties. Stephen Osh though beginning to struggle slightly. 1.5 seconds now the gap. Ricci closing in. Not necessarily done with, I think this is, for the race win. But Stephen Osh having to maybe just conserve his tyres slightly. Ricci is now beginning to have a real go at him again. He's found pace all of a sudden from absolutely nowhere. Nearly inside of a second coming out the final corner. And Ricci is charging at Stephen Osh for potential race win out on track. It's 1.1 seconds the gap. Onto the final lap of the race we go. Stephen Osh leads the way. Ricci in second, Montana in third. Physico there in fourth. Ricci has suddenly found pace from absolutely nowhere and has gained 6 or 7 tenths of a second on that last lap alone. And Stephen Osh, for the first time I think all race, is looking like he's in a little spot of bother, because Ricci gaining, I know they've got penalties on them in behind, but Ricci wants this race win out on track as Stephen Osh leads the way. Ricci in second, Montana there in third. Bunty saying in the chat, Stephen is a full title contender next season if he's full time. Yep, agree. Stephen though is under pressure still. 7 tenths of a second. Ricci is not over and done with in terms of this fight. He's gaining every single lap and every single corner at this stage of this race, and it's coming down to 0.4 of a second into the Ferrosol. Stephen Osh leading the way. All he needs to do, basically, he can let Ruti through if he wanted to and still win the race. Stephen Osh, though, defends into the Ferrosol. Ruti, I think, is going to try and have a go for the race win out on track, though, as Stephen Osh round the final corner. He's going to take the race win. Ruti, though, was right underneath that rear wing at the end. Stephen Osh wins in Mexico, though. Ruti in second. Montana there in third. And MTC in Physico. I think MTC got back on Physico into P4 in the final lap. So MTC through, and he's into fourth position. Physical there, I think, will finish in fifth and has dropped in terms of penalties and in terms of positions because Rocco picks up P5. Physical and P6 with a gentle crash between a Red Bull and a Mercedes are coming across the line as well. YS-Man there to finish in 8th. Marley, where's he going to finish? 9th, down to 10th. Down outside the points. Genso is up to 8th in the end. There's a huge crash coming across the line. Davidenko around the final corner. He's potentially going to gain ahead of Marley as well. And he does, and he gains points as well. So Davidenko comes across the line. And it's a car cemetery, I think, coming through the final couple of corners at the Day of the Dead track, of course. Hawk around the final corner. Not to pick up points, unfortunately. He finishes in P13 in the end. And he also joins the car cemetery coming across the line.
Well, I would say Aldinef.
Yeah. MedTC picked up Drive of the Day, awarded by the in-game fans. To be honest, he drove a solid race here tonight. Physical as well. Drove a solid race, but it is that man there giving everyone the love. Stephen Osh to the top step of the podium here in FRL F1. And I'll tell you what, he absolutely deserved that race win. We had a feeling, once Ruti overtook Montana, I thought that was game over. But his tyres came back alive. Always going to be ahead of him towards the end of the race. And unfortunately for Ruti, 6 seconds too many in terms of penalties. And that's what cost him the race win, because it would have come down to 93 hundredths of a second.
It was really close at the end between them. So I'm going to invite them to the parties if my PS4 is not lagging.
Yep, that's absolutely fine. I will run through the full grid order when you do that. Stephen Osh, though, takes the win from Ruti in second. Montana there in third. MTC, 16th on the grid up to 4th. Potentially a Driver of the Day candidate. Rocco there in 5th. Physico, another potential Driver of the Day candidate there in 6th. Yorl there in 7th. Jensen, considering he was pretty much last for the majority of that race further down the field. In there in 8th, another potential Driver of the Day candidate. YS-Man in 9th, Davidenko picking up points in 10th. Mentos, Marley, Hawk and Harmon, the 14 finishers. Harmon, I think, finished a lap down, if I'm not mistaken. And the rest were DNF out of the race. And that included, of course, the likes of... Well, I'm trying to go back on the stream, because I didn't even scroll down, did I? So, the rest of the ones that you didn't see... DNF out of the race, the likes of Vaporizer and the likes of Thyman there as well. Montana has joined the party, which you can report. Hopefully we're going to get interviews, though, from all 3 drivers here tonight. But Jesse, let's just wrap up that race. Bit aggressive on the driving standard side, but all in all, coming towards the end of the race there, quite thrilling.
Yeah, pretty fun race with some battles, of course, in the midfield, so... Yeah, also excited for the finale of season 14 in Brazil.
Yeah, Brazil next week, and you know I like to commentate around Brazil. It's one of my favourite tracks to commentate on, and it's one of the best tracks to have a season finale on as well. So Bunty, I think, and the admins have pulled a blinder of going to Brazil for the final race of the season. And while I have got everyone's attention at this moment in time, there will be absolutely no surprise to you, but I'm going to be back in FRL F1 next season as, I think, your lead commentator. I'll certainly be signing up as a commentator moving forward, and potentially, of course, with the graphics and everything that I've been promising. I was supposed to promise for the final 2 races of the season. Be coming on the new game now. I'm going to get everything next week in terms of equipment, so that is something to look forward to, and you're going to be getting maybe fancy graphics and maybe even a weird face cam of me at the start of the stream. God help me if I do that. Nobody wants to see my fringe, I think. Nobody wants to see my fringe. But anyways, we'll move on to the interviews. Montana picking up, of course, a P... Was it P3 out on track?
Yeah, it was P3.
It was indeed. P3 finish for you. Oh, Stephen Osh has just literally appeared, so we'll go actually to Stephen Osh first, taking the race win there. And Stephen, I think, relatively speaking, that was a pretty dominant race from your perspective. Got a little bit touchy final couple of laps, though.
Yeah, I was struggling a bit with tire wear in the end. But yeah, from the start, I wanted to start on the softs, because I thought that we could pull the gap. And I also was relieved to see Montana also choosing soft, so I could stick with it in his DRS. And then, of course, safety cars came out, so it was a bit tricky with the strategies. But in the end, I made the right call going to mediums until the end. So it was a bit tight in the end, but yeah, luckily I made it work.
You made it work indeed. What was that strategy call in that second safety car? Because obviously we saw you pit in. Montana came in a few laps earlier on that first safety car restart. That was the point, I think, you realised potentially you were going to win that race.
Yeah, I was hoping for a safety car around lap 10. And the first safety car was just too early, I thought, to pit. But then I struggled a bit with the soft tire. So I wanted to go to the medium. And I knew that everyone else should make a second pit stop. So yeah, in the end... going for the one stop was the right strategy call.
Yeah, it was indeed. That is your second podium, I think, all season long as well. You picked up, was it third, I think, in Monza in both sprint and feature races. So actually, it's your third technical podium here. Your first race win. Must be happy with it.
Yeah, of course. Really happy. Finally on the top step, and hopefully more to come.
Hopefully more to come, indeed. Jesse, coming across to you, any questions?
As you said, more to come. We will see if you are racing in Brazil. Do you like that track?
It's not the best track for me. Yeah, normally I'm a bit behind other drivers, so yeah, maybe again with a nice strategy call I can go for a podium again, but yeah, it's not my best track.
Congratulations on the race win tonight.
Sorry?
Congratulations on the race win tonight.
Thank you.
And that was Stephen Osh, of course, and we'll now move on to the man who, of course, finished in P3 and on the other receiving end of a bad strategy call for once. It's Montana. Obviously nothing to lose, already wrapped up the championship, finishing in P3. Strategically, not your best race.
I don't know, to be honest. I'm actually quite happy in my calls. I think my general tire wear is just not enough tonight, because I could have done whatever strategy on planet Earth, and I wouldn't have beaten Steven really, because he made 27 laps on mediums. I could barely do a 20 laps on mediums without blowing up. So not too bad of calls. So just petitioning for the safety car to be turned off for league racing again, because it's just so random. So yeah, a bit of a pain, but otherwise I quite enjoyed it.
You quite enjoyed it indeed. Talk us through the safety car. You putting in for basically putting in for another set of soft compound tyre. Looking back on that, do you think it was the right call to pit in, knowing that Stevens obviously finished, 6-7 seconds ahead of you?
Yeah, it definitely was. Because he would probably have one stopped anyways, and I was thinking about 3 stopping, so I actually think that was the right call. And if I went mediums, I would have been stuck in the train, so just enjoyed myself overtaking a bit. Could have worked out differently without the second safety car, but well, we made some nice overtakes, good clips for YouTube and Twitter, so that's fine.
Yeah, your 11th podium, I think, of the season as well, so you must be quite happy with it going into the final race of the season.
Yeah, I was actually planning to start at the back tonight, but then the rain started dropping in qualifying, which is also quite nice. But yeah, maybe the same in Brazil again, but I think Tymon is going to be the guy to beat there, because he's always really quick. So yeah, we'll see.
You've heard it from the horse's mouth, I think, yourself, here for Brazil next week. Jesse, coming across to you, any questions?
And as we head into Brazil, the final race, yeah, AlphaTauri can wrap up the constructors there as well. Do you like Brazil?
It's a weird track. I have to go quite low with the tire pressure, so it's an easy strategy and you can't really do much there, so I kind of like to go freaky with the setup, but other than that, just a bit boring, the track.
Oh, I love the track actually.
He didn't say that in LOE in commentary at the end of the season. Terrible.
Well, yeah, to watch it's exciting, but to drive it's boring.
Yeah, I respect that, to be honest. I think Brazil is one of my worst tracks, certainly. And that's why you never see me out on track ever again in any other league. So I think with that, Montana, go and enjoy your evening.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
You're very welcome indeed, and that rounds us up very nicely indeed in terms of the interviews tonight. Big thank you to Stephen and big thank you to Montana for joining us for the interviews. Much appreciated, of course. As always, Jesse, I'm going to come across to you. I was going to say any questions again, but they both left. So, driver of the day, please.
I think Matt P4. He finished, I think, maybe his best race of the season. Also, so yeah, I think he started 12th or something, so I will pick him as driver of the day.
He started even worse, 16th, up to 4th, 12 positions gained in the end for METC, and yeah, I'm going to agree. METC, just purely because of the most position gains out on track, does get driver of the day from us as well. So I will put that, and he will be voted, of course, in the poll, which will be live, I'm sure, later tonight in the Discord server. Big thank you, of course, though, to everyone that has tuned in this season so far. We've got one more race to come next week. It is F3 and F4. Perhaps you're going to be seeing me in F3 next week as well for commentary. It all depends on if Charlie and Glowstick can make it, of course, for F3 commentary. If not, you'll probably have me once again for the final race of the season. F4, of course, it is Paladin and Davidenko taking to the action, both at 7 PM UK time. And then we go to F2, of course, at 7 PM UK time. Bullboy and Stephen taking to the action for that one. And then myself and Jesse for the final time, taking you through FRL F1, 7 PM UK time. You don't want to miss it. Constructors fight on the line with AlphaTauri, Haas and Alpine, all within mathematical chance of winning. I think the Constructors standings will get that confirmation for you at the start of the next stream. Big thank you though to Jesse once again for joining me as always. Much appreciated, and we are going to end it off here. And if anybody is caring about the England score, by the way, England's getting beat off Hungary, so that is terrible. And I'm now going to watch that football match as well. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.